Blog Talk Radio.
How do we know this is Babylon? Psalms 137. I'm going to read it. This place was known for the slaves, slave ships, boats. The children of Israel were singing songs and being whipped and beaten in this particular land. So, let me read. By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down, yea, we wept, when we remembered Zion. Yeah. We hanged our harps upon the willows in the midst thereof. Willows are willow trees. Where do willow trees grow? Here in America, in the South. They didn't even grow in ancient Babylon. The willow tree's name in the Latin is the Babylon Apr. We hanged our harps upon the willows in the midst thereof. So when we were whipped and beat, we used to go under the willow trees and cry during slavery. The third verse. For there they that carried us away, captive, required of us a song. So this is talking about by the rivers of Babylon now. They required of us a song. That's where you get your Negro spirituals at. Okay? When the captives were enslaved during the time of slavery, they wasn't singing about Africa. The slaves were singing about Zion. Over the river Jordan, let my people go. These people knew that they were the children of Israel. For there they that carried us away captive required of us a song. And they that wasted us required of us mirth, saying, sing us one of those songs of Zion. That's Negro spirituals. 4. How shall we sing the Lord's song in a strange land? What strange land? By the rivers of Babylon. Yeah, they named it America, but the Most High called this land an extension of Babylon. How shall we sing the Lord's song in a strange land? It reads in the 4th verse. If I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget her cunning. If I do not remember thee, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. If I prefer not Jerusalem above my chief joy. So David said, listen, he would rather not even know anything to forget the ease of Israel. He told the Most High, please never let me forget that we're Israel, that I'm from Zion. And our people don't even care. The 7th verse. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. Edom is a pure blood Caucasian who was behind bringing us here to Babylon to serve. You will never find the word America in the Bible, but you know America is written because it's the most evil and wicked empire in all existence. So you mean to tell me the Most High wrote about Egypt, Babylon, Sodom and Gomorrah, and all the evils placed in the earth, but forgot America? America is Babylon the Great. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall utterly be burned with fire. For strong is the Lord God who judgeth her. The Most High has put His Spirit on these other countries to take her out through war. And all the other nations know it. The government know it. The bank systems, they realize it. They know prophecy. So what they're doing, they're mobilizing to move their money into the other countries, over in Europe and Africa and all these other places you see Barack Obama going. He's been to Ghana twice already, knowing that this place is about to go. The 9th verse. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. So while they're teaching you prosperity, that everything is going to be all right, that you're going to be floating up into a cloud, which is nowhere in the scriptures before Christ come back. While they're teaching you all this madness in these philosophical schools they call churches, the Most High's prophecies are coming to pass. They're coming to pass before our eyes. You can see it, and you know it's going to happen. But Satan have what you would call a spell on the people through religion. So the Most High have awakened his elect in the last days to warn the people. Zechariah, the 2nd chapter in your Bible, the 5th verse. For I saith, the Lord, will be unto her a wall of fire round about, and will be the glory in the midst of her. Ho, ho. Come forth and flee from the land of the north, saith the Lord. We didn't say this, the Lord said this. For I have spread you abroad as the four winds of the heaven, saith the Lord. Deliver thyself, O Zion, that dwellest with the daughter of Babylon. So is this ancient Babylon? No. This is the modern day daughter of ancient Babylon. And we're in the north. The Most High say we must flee her before the destruction comes. If we don't flee her, we'll get the plagues that are coming. In Revelation 18, where it says she shall be utterly burned with fire. The 8th verse. Okay? There's more, but if you want to know more, you can always go to our website.
Shabbat Shalom, Barakatham, Watawata. Peaceful Sabbath, bless you all, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Friday Night Sabbath, coming out of Babylon, here on Blog Talk Radio for the Gathering of Christ Church. I'm your host, Brother Ramar Karab, and with me is Brother Yawanathan. It is April 19th, 2013. 9:07 p.m. Central Standard Time, and hope everybody's had a great week. And as always, going into the Sabbath, you'll have a blessed Sabbath also. Definitely have a great show lined up for tonight. I mean, there's so much happening right now, especially in America, and a lot of things prophetically intensifying. So we're going to go into this information here in the first segment. But before we do, we're going to go into some church announcements, and so that we can prepare for the first segment coming up. So again, you are listening to Friday Night Sabbath, coming out of Babylon for the Gathering of Christ Church on Blog Talk Radio. The show is every Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Pacific Time. The website that you can listen to the show is www.blogtalkradio.com/GOCchurch. Okay, sorry about that. Don't know what happened, but yeah, so every Friday is that show. Okay, now the fourth hour is overtime. So if you're listening to through your computer, you'll want to make sure you call into the guest call-in number, or you'll get cut off, and you will need to call. You can also Skype in for the fourth hour. If not, then you can listen to the archives after the show is over with. And also, all shows for Blog Talk are archived, so you can, catch up on the show or listen to it again or what have you. Blog Talk Radio is on 5 nights a week for the Gathering of Christ Church. We have Saturday nights. We have Chilling with Israel with Brother Gaja. That show is at 9 p.m. Central, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. And it is a musical show. It is a show dealing with the music aspects of the body. All right. On Sundays, we have Hebrew Way is Life, hosted by Brother Xavier, Gathering of Christ Church, California. And that show is at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Pacific Time. Correction on the on the Chilling with Israel for Saturday night. That show actually is at 5 Eastern, 4 Central, 2 Pacific time. For Chilling with Israel with Brother Gaja. On Wednesdays, we have the International Search Engine, which is also hosted by Brother Gaja and Elder Ricard. That show comes on at, let's see here, 5 Eastern, 4 Central, 2 Pacific time. Typically, they have a host calls in and a special guest. All right, and then on Thursday nights, we have What Scripture Is That? And that show is hosted by Brothers Zerai and Rai. Showtimes 5 Eastern, 4 Central, 2 p.m. Pacific time, where they're dealing with the simple question for the listeners to prove the doctrine of the Bible with Scripture. All right, on the Sabbath day, we have the Ustream teaching or Ustream class. The website is www.ustream.tv/channel/THE-GOC-church, and that show is hosted by Elder Ricard and Elder Lawyer. It comes on around between the times of 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern time. After that, you have the law class hosted by Gabar Yashala out of New York. Those shows are also archived, so if you miss those teachings, you can always go back into your archives to listen. All right, the website for the church is www.gatheringofchrist.org. Also, you have the email for the church, which is gatheringas1@aol.com. That's gatheringas1@aol.com. All right, and you are in the Texas area and you're looking for fellowship, baptism, things of that nature, give us an email, gocctexas@ymail.com. That's gocctexas@ymail.com. We also have the phone number there is 972-793-7068. All right, so real quick, we're going to take a quick music break. We're going to go into the first segment. Following that, the first segment will be current events, prophecy, the news, what's going on right now. Also in segment 2, we have part 2 of identifying and exposing the synagogue of Satan. Part 2 is the sons of Esau. All right, so I'm going to play a couple tracks, and we'll be right back.
The Most High, I put my trust in Thee. Command G, my soul, see a moment I flee. As a bird for low, the wicked bend their bow, ready their arrow. Against the righteous, walking straight and narrow. I higher, yeah, he tries the righteous, the wicked, and I love it. Violence is so despised, so we see the light, or under unjust is rain pour, snares, brimstone, and fire. I tell the world, leave me alone, I'm in my spiritual zone. Tell the old man that I'm gone and I'll never come home. Tell the enemy it's sown and my armor is strong. Season 6, the type of weaponry that I bring, it's been a fight to the finish since the very beginning. Like let there be light, and the darkness won't get it. Let this world know it's finished. Heads up for the ending. Serpent seat against a woman and she's written to win it. 12 stars on her crown representing her children. The earth is given to the wicked. We in a spiritual prison. Only the Holy Spirit can give you wisdom to hear this. Seek and you shall find. Read and expand your mind. The only truth under a pile of lies. Dig deeper than dive. The only air I need to survive. From him that gave it, I'm giving all praises. Psalms 11, singing songs of David. The Most High, I put my trust in Thee. Command G, my soul, see I'm out when I flee. As a bird for low, the wicked bend their bow, ready their arrow. Against the righteous, walking straight and narrow. I higher, yeah, he tries the righteous, the wicked, and I love it. Violence is so despised, so we see the light, or under unjust is rain pours, snares, brimstones, and fire. With my heart on my sleeve, the truth in hand as I reach. Believe me, in the heartless world, shedding love isn't easy. To your enemies, families, and those who deceive me, I'm humble to the ground that's beneath me. The wisest know he know it's nothing. The love of wisdom will teach me. Knowledge will feed me. The word will show me something in the world full of evil. The righteous held high, clear skies, see through eyes of an eagle. Set my eye on the needful. Empires destroying my people in the house of bondage like the ancient Hebrews. Moses, how I pray for their freedom. Break the hand of the bondman that squeeze them and the lies that deceives them. Make them wake up, cause they've been sleeping. Your adversary's like a lion waiting for the feasting. Souls of men he's eating. Our highest children will defeat him. Righteousness endureth till the end. Inherit the kingdom. The Most High, I put my trust in thee. Command G, my soul, see a mountain I free. As a bird for low, the wicked bend their bow, ready their arrow. Against the righteous, walking straight and narrow. A higher, yeah, he drives the righteous, the wicked, him that loveth violence is so despised. So we see the light on the unjust, his rain pours, snares, brimstones, let fire. And the Most High put out my trust. I'll say you to my soul, flee as a bird to your mountain. Below the wicked bend their bows, they make ready their arrow upon the string, that they may privately shoot at the upright in heart. If the foundations be destroyed, what can the righteous do? The Most High is in his holy temple. The Most High's throne is in heaven. His eyes behold, his eyelids try the children of men. The Most High trieth the righteous, but the wicked in him that loveth violence and so hateth. Upon the wicked he shall rain snares, fire, and brimstone, and a horrible tempest. This shall be the portion of their cup. For the righteous, the Most High loveth righteousness. His countenance doth behold the upright. Amen.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Virgin daughter, virgin daughter, virgin daughter of Babylon. Virgin daughter, virgin daughter, virgin daughter of Babylon. Virgin daughter, virgin daughter, virgin daughter of Babylon. 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 Babylon, Babylon. Out the window, all I see is Babylon. Closed roads and paid tolls. Can't even really get my travel on. Caught a flight, leave the lady. GMO when you feed the baby. Dusty Bible up off the dresser. Pick it up, did you read it lately? Change your ways like a 180. Baby falling and you can't save it. Same clown sticking 8-1. Don't fall off like T. McGrady. Destruction and devastation. Crooks and thieves who rule the nation. Promoting homo tendencies. Don't date your own gender, please. Virgin daughter of Babylon. The bird Isaiah did see. Prophesied out of his mouth around 600 BC. The hammer of the whole earth is a desolation among the nations. USD worth 4 cents and the housing market is full of vacants. GMO is in all the food and all your favorites is full of bacon. Just don't know the American dream. It's info, a rude awakening. The scarlet colored beat with the woman riding front seat. USA under Satan's authority. Babylon the Great has fallen, fallen. Babylon the Great has fallen. Babylon the Great has fallen, fallen. Babylon the Great has fallen. Babylon the Great has fallen, fallen. Babylon the Great has fallen. Babylon the Great has fallen, fallen. Babylon the Great has fallen. Come down, sit in the dust. Thus says the Lord, so you know it's just. In sorcery, she did trust. Now Babylon getting her head bust. No longer say she stand alone. Gotta put the clamp on Satan's throne. Smell the smoke, plus I hear the screams. Pick up your book and stop chasing dreams. King of Babby, Queen of England. Distant cousin, do what you're thinking. Beauty of the child, these really finna let a nigga off the streets just sneak in. Know the answer, but will you listen? It ain't go just cause it glisten. Trust in the Lord, sharpen your sword, and then beat the odds like Sonny. Listen, Christ walked the earth, but he wasn't Christian. Shoot Drew and Pete while they was fishing. At the end of days, they acting strange and playing games like an exhibition. From here to Rome, weeks out the throne. Gotta wake up Jake, about to take it home from the tribe of Judah. Out the loins of David, they can hate me now, but gon' crown me later. And did I fail to mention that these politicians got laws being passed, the daily premonitions trying to blot out our existence? With the government assistant school of the Most High, I ain't graduated from prison. Hosea 4:6, rules won't exist, blinded by their lies, pride, and jealousy.
Hosea 4:6, rules won't exist, blinded by their lies, pride, and jealousy.
Babylon the Great has fallen, fallen. Babylon the Great has fallen, fallen. Babylon the Great has fallen, fallen. Babylon the Great has fallen, Babylon the Great has fallen, fallen. Babylon the Great has fallen, Babylon the Great has fallen, fallen. Babylon the Great has fallen. Every day I'm exercising mentally and spiritually, getting ready for the recompense of all the Most High's enemies. You want to know who's involved? Just check out Psalms chapter 83. Babylon and all round about gon' burn to the third degree. I'm crossing T's, dotting the I's, precepts line upon lines. Here a little when there a little. Take my time reading in between the lines. I'm fasting, mashing, keeping all the holy feasts, making sure these evil spirits won't never get a hold of me. Gentiles say what kind of life is that? Rehearsing all these righteous acts, putting down the gods of the nations and speaking the ancient dialect. Well, I've been there and I done that. Fell 7 times and I came back. Now it's all white linen on my meat street when I traded in my wave cap. The government is falling, Babylon is lying. New earthquakes happening everywhere and the Euphrates is drying. 4 years later in the king of Babel, still running his mouth talking about change. There's less jobs and there's more jails and he getting away with y'all pocket change. Babylon the Great has fallen, fallen. Babylon the Great has fallen. Babylon the Great has fallen, fallen. Babylon the Great has fallen. Babylon the Great has fallen, fallen. Babylon the Great has fallen. Babylon the Great has fallen, fallen. Babylon the Great has fallen. Virgin daughter of Babylon.
Virgin daughter of Babylon.
Virgin daughter of Babylon. Virgin daughter of Babylon.
Virgin daughter of Babylon. Virgin daughter of Babylon.
Virgin daughter of Babylon.
Virgin daughter of Babylon.
Virgin daughter of Babylon. Virgin daughter of Babylon.
Virgin daughter of Babylon. Virgin daughter of Babylon.
Virgin daughter of Babylon.
Virgin daughter of Babylon.
Virgin daughter of Babylon.
Virgin daughter of Babylon.
Virgin daughter of Babylon.
Virgin daughter of Babylon.
Virgin daughter of Babylon.
Virgin daughter of Babylon.
Virgin daughter of Babylon.
Virgin daughter of Babylon.
Virgin daughter of Babylon. Virgin daughter of Babylon. Virgin daughter of Babylon. Virgin daughter of Babylon.
Deuteronomy 30, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessings and the curse which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whether the Most High thy power hath driven thee, and shall return unto the Most High thy power, and shall obey his voice, according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children, with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, that then the Most High thy power will return thy captivity and thy compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations, whether the Most High thy power hath scattered thee. If any of thine be driven out unto the outmost parts of heaven, from thence will the Most High thy power gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. And the Most High thy power will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it, and he will do thee good, and multiply thee above thy fathers. And the Most High thy power will circumcise thine heart, and the heart of thy seed, to love the Most High thy power with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live. And the Most High thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies, and on them that hate thee, which persecute thee. And thou shalt return and obey the voice of the Most High, and do all his commandments which I command thee this day. And the Most High thy power will make thee plenteous in every work of thine hand, and the fruit of thy body, and in the fruit of thy cattle, and in the fruit of thy land, for good. For the Most High will again rejoice over thee for good, as he rejoiced over thy fathers. If thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Most High thy power, to keep his commandments and his statutes which are written in this book of the law, and if thou return unto the Most High thy power with all thine heart, and with all thy soul.
All right, Shabbat Shalom. We are back. And before we go into the first segment of tonight's show, I want to give all praise to the Most High, Ahaya, in the name of His Son, Christ Yeshua, to be here for another Sabbath, to partake in His holy day, and also to have another broadcast. And before we go into this segment, we want to get the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew as well as the Hebrew Credo. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in Brother Yawanathan. Brother Yawanathan, Shabbat Shalom, are you there?
Yo, Shabbat Shalom, I'm good.
Hey, I'm chilling, man. How's it going?
Blessed, man. Can't complain.
Most definitely counting blessings with everything that's going on right now. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over so we can get us the Hebrew Credo and the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew, and then I'll translate it into English.
Okay. Just want to give all praises to the Most High, Higher, in the name of His Son, Yeshua. I pray that you all have a blessed Sabbath, and you keep marching towards Zion. We're gonna start with the Hebrew Credo first, and then get the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. So to all the sisters out there, please make sure that your head is covered, and to all the brothers out there, please make sure that your head is uncovered, according to 1 Corinthians chapter 11. Now with the Hebrew Credo. Shema Yasha Allah Ahaya, Allahaya Nawa Ahaya Akkad.
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 Hear, O Israel, Most High Power is one.
Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one.
That's Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4. And now with the Lord's Prayer. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Badash Haya Shamka. Ahaya Malakwatka, Taba'a Ratazawanka. Haya Asha Ba'aratza, Kawahaya Bashemayim. Nathan Lanawa, Lacham, Kalyumam, Wasalak Nawa. Kawawat Nawa. Kasalak Nawa. Kawawat Nawa. Wala'a Tabaya'a Nawa. Wanasayawan Abal Hawashai Nawa. Wanra Kayalaka. Hamalakwa, Waha'ala, Wahataf Art, La'iwalamyum, Amar.
All right, so that was the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew, and I'm going to translate it now through the Scripture in English. Matthew chapter 6, verse 9, and it reads, After this manner, therefore pray ye, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil, for thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen, or so be it. And let's go ahead and get the scripture for the show, Matthew chapter 24, and go ahead and get verse 20 for me.
St. Matthew chapter 24, verse 20. But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day.
All right, so we know that Matthew 24 is the time that Christ letting the disciples know when the temple would be destroyed, also the times of his second coming. So he gave them warning, the time to pray that your flight or your time of fleeing, depart should be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day, letting us know that the Sabbath is still in effect. For those that say it's not, Sabbath is Friday night to Saturday night. Also, that these are two times of preparation. So we know that the enemy will come against us during this time period. So Friday night Sabbath coming out of Babylon, we go into the news, prophecy, current events so that we can stay prepared for what's going on around us. Because every day it seems like something is always happening. So even on the Sabbath, the day that we take out for rest and to keep holy, we definitely need to be watching and praying always as Christ commanded us. All right, which is going to lead us into the first piece of news that we have tonight, and I'm pretty sure everybody that's out there knows about this. It'd be pretty hard not to know about the bombing that happened in Boston, Massachusetts, earlier this week at a marathon. So we're going to go into a news article here, and this article is off of Infowars.com, and it reads: Eyewitness: Authorities announce drill before Boston explosions. And it's dated April 15, 2013. It reads here: An eyewitness to the two explosions at the Boston Marathon today said that a drill was repeatedly announced before the bombs exploded, and that he thought it was odd bomb-sniffing dogs were in place before the blast. University of Mobile's cross-country coach Ali Stevenson told Local 15 News they kept making announcements on the loudspeaker that it was just a drill and there was nothing to worry about. It seemed like there was some sort of threat, but they kept telling us it was just a drill. The news station also reports that Stevenson thought it was odd there were bomb-sniffing dogs at the start and finish lines. Stevenson then describes hearing the explosions as he ran away from the scene, having just completed the marathon. If this report is accurate, it clearly suggests there could have been some degree of prior knowledge of the bombing, which killed 2 people and injured at least 23. The fact that the explosions were preceded and overlapped by a drill of an almost identical nature mirrors other major terror attacks, such as the 7/7 bombings in London. And just to add to this, when you do your research, you'll see that pretty much every so-called terror drill, domestic and foreign, there's always some sort of exercise that's taking place in conjunction with these with these events, which puts a huge question mark or asterisk next to these events as to what's really going on. Reading on here, it says, it is important to emphasize that the New York Times recently reported that most of the recent domestic terror plots in the United States were facilitated by the FBI, suggesting that today's incident in Boston may have been part of such an operation. It remains to be seen how the media and the Obama administration will exploit this incident depending who gets the blame. But Rahm Emanuel's Never Let a Serious Crisis Go to Waste advisory is sure to be in play. More on this story as it develops. All right, so now the latest on this story, just from what I've seen, is that there's a no-fly zone over the city of Boston, and they've killed a suspected suspect in this so-called bombing, and there's another one on the run, and they pretty much have the whole city of Boston on lockdown, or at least a part of the city on lockdown, Watertown, and on this manhunt for this individual that they're saying is a suspect, and also these million people that they are have on lockdown. It's all kind of stuff going on, martial law type activities and whatnot. So it definitely would be great if anybody that's there in that area, could be, our eyes and ears on the street and could call in and let us know what's happening there and give us, straight, live and direct insight. All right, now, when you see an event like this, for those of us that are familiar with 9/11 and other so-called terror plots and terror attacks, these so-called terrorist attacks, there's a lot of things that always doesn't add up. to this. And through research and whatnot, you see a lot of flaws, and you see a lot of things that make you question the official story coming from the government and these government agencies. Right? Now, there was a lot of controversy after this happened because 3 weeks prior to this event, you have a cartoon called Family Guy. And in this cartoon, the main character is being interviewed by Bob Costas, and Bob Costas asked him, how did you win the Boston Marathon? Tell us how you did it. And there's a picture on the screen above this guy's head showing him in a car, and he's ran over all of the runners in this marathon, and you see body parts laying everywhere, similar to what the media had shown in their news coverage. They show blood and body parts all over the place. Now, later in the show, there's a part where the main character is sitting in a restaurant, and he grabs his cell phone like he's going to make a call, and he presses some buttons, and in the background you hear a loud explosion, one explosion. And then he says, that he made a mistake. So then he dials again, and you hear a second explosion. And you hear people screaming in the background. So you see some subliminal programming going on with this cartoon. The same way that you had with the 9/11, you had movies, and you had one in particular, The Simpsons, that showed some subliminals in one of their cartoons, or maybe even several of their cartoons, referring to 9/11, and this was before it happened. Now, once this was put out on YouTube, then anybody that uploaded these clips on YouTube immediately was getting their channel suspended, or the video was getting removed for violation, all different type of violations for having this video up. A lot of people were being demonized for asking the question as to why would this particular cartoon have these references, and then 3 weeks later you have this bombing. Also in this cartoon is another clip that maybe a lot of people don't know about, but there is an Arab man dressed up in Arab attire. He has on a galabeah, the long garb, along with a turban on his head, and he's with the main character of this Family Guy show, and he's in like a bus or a van or someplace with this bomb, and he's talking about blowing up, using this bomb to blow up, something in America, and the Family Guy is trying to reason with him about doing it, and he's naming off all of this stuff, and one of the items he names is the gun control situation. So we know that the gun control has been a heavy ongoing argument through legislation and through your politics since Sandy Hook happened back in December. So you're starting to see things connect, all of these connections being shown just within this cartoon itself. Now, after these connections were made, you had the maker or the writer of Family Guy, Seth MacFarlane, come out with a statement saying that that it's abhorrent that that anybody would draw these comparisons, and he was sympathetic towards the victims that were hurt and their families in the Boston bombing, and since then this particular Family Guy episode has been pulled from being shown being pulled from the TiVo and your cable providers, and those particular scenes have been taken out. So yeah, that was definitely very coincidental subliminals being shown within this particular cartoon. Also, you have the finish line for this race was 666 Boylston Street. So another eerie coincidence is, why was the finish line 666 Boylston Street? Are the elite telling us that we're coming to the end of the road, and that the number of the beast, which is linked to the mark of the beast, is here, that that we're right here upon it all? The bomb explosion took place right in front of all of the world flags. You have a long line of world flags that go at the finish line all the way down, and the bomb happened right behind these world flags. So you see this smoke all around these world flags. And could that be a symbol or a sign for, world war? All right. So, there's so much to say about all of this that's happening. Just trying to hit the main points here. But as the show goes on, we're going to talk more in detail about this event as well as the other news that's happening, because a lot of things, taken place and happened this week. All right, which leads us to the next news article. All right, and this comes off of RT.com, and the name of the article is "Like a Nuclear Blast, Texas Plant Explosion Registered as 2.1 Earthquake." So you had a explosion in Waco, Texas, that happened the day after, I believe, the event that took place in Boston, or a couple of days after. All right. So let's read this article. I'm bringing Brother Yawanathan. It's dated April 18th, 2013. And Brother Yawanathan, if you could just start there where it reads, "It felt like a bomb went off."
Okay. All right, it says, "It felt like a bomb went off. Those who saw the deadly Texas explosion ripping through a fertilizer plant say." A video taken by a father several meters from the scene captures his child screaming, "Daddy, please get out of here. I can't hear." The blast injured over 172 people, dozens are feared dead. The explosion leveled local resident homes, shaking doors and sending shockwaves across the community. Quote, "It was like a nuclear bomb went off," end quote. A man who was looking for a lost relative on Willie Nelson Road told KVUE. "There was a huge shockwave," said Mark Lignovsky, who worked at the Czech shop stop less than 1 mile away, told the station. "I don't know exactly what happened. I just know once Joyce and I got down there, we were on the corner of the nursing home. I jumped out and started and went to that store, and people were just saying, 'What can we do?' It was just like, I don't know. But we started pulling them out, and they started getting people in there to help, and they ran down that hall, which was totally blown up. Oh God." A survivor of the disaster shared her experience with RT. "That's when we knew something was serious," local resident Keith Williams said his house was completely destroyed. "All the ceilings are out, the windows are out, the bricks knocked off the house. My big garage out back is half blown in," Williams told ABC News Radio. He also saw people with all their houses tore up across the street from me, on each side of me, shook my doors, wrote Nancy Cassini on her Facebook page. Thought it was an earthquake. Bill Bohannon was visiting his parents at their house in West, near the plant, and witnessed the explosion. I said, this thing is going to blow, and I told my mom and dad to get in the car. I was standing next to my car with my fiance, waiting for my parents to come out, and the plant exploded. It knocked us into the car. Every house within about 4 blocks is blown apart, he told the Waco Tribune Herald. A young father of 2 who lives less than a mile from the plant, Jason Shelton, he heard fire trucks heading toward the facility several minutes before the explosion and felt a shock wave from the blast. My windows started rattling and my kids screaming, he told Reuters. The screen door hit me in the forehead and all the screens blew off my windows. Crystal Anthony, who serves on the West Independent School Board of Trustees, said she and her daughter as they stood blocks away from the plant. A nearby nursing home is really bad. There's an apartment complex and a school that caught fire, she told the Waco Tribune. We've been moving patients out of the nursing home into the football field and gymnastics building on Davis Street. Dr. George Smith, stationed in a local nursing home, has confirmed the emergency worker's death. I knew the EMS who were killed very well. They were friends of mine, he told CBS 11.
All right, so you had this fertilizer plant that it was on fire for a short time period, and then later exploded halfway through its being on fire. And this was a small town north of Waco, but pretty much a suburb of Waco. Now, if we look at the time, today is the 19th, and April 19th, 1993, you had the Waco siege, where the ATF sieged the compound, the Branch Davidian compound in Waco, and it caught on fire, and 76 people inside were burned alive, men, women, and children. So this event took place 2 days prior to the 20th anniversary in the same area, just right in Waco. Now, also, you have on the propaganda news machine, the mainstream media, when the Boston bombing took place, they were, at first the story was domestic terrorism and talking about fertilizer bombs being made by a domestic terrorist, and this was the cause of this bomb in Boston. So then within the next day or so, now you have a fertilizer plant blow up. All right, now I'm hoping people are starting to draw and connect some dots here for those that haven't already. Now, moving on to the next piece of news, because most people knew about the event that took place in Boston. Maybe not as many knew about the event that took place in Texas, but a very small amount of people knew about the explosion that took place in Oklahoma. So we're going to get that particular article next. Give me one moment to pull it up here. One moment. All right, so this next article comes off of news9.com. News9.com. And let me get it here, one moment. One moment. All right, so news9.com, the article is named 4 Injured in Chemical Explosion in Edmond. All right. Actually, one moment here, one moment. This particular article may have the wrong date. I'm not sure. Let me go to a different article. This article comes out before it's news.com, and it says explosion at Oklahoma City chemical plant. All right, and dated Wednesday, April 17, 2013. Now, at the very top of this article, it says, while I'm not ready by any means to relate all these events, something sure as hell strange is going on. And this article reads, firefighters and emergency personnel are investigating after an explosion in northwest Oklahoma City. The explosion occurred just before 9:30 Wednesday night at 812 North Bryant. Officials tell us it was a tank battery that exploded. The cause is unknown at this time. The area surrounding the tank battery is being evacuated. Police, EMSA, and the Oklahoma City Fire Department are all on scene. There are several propane tanks in the area that are threatened by the flames. All right, so so you had 3 different explosions. One was a 2 bombs in Boston, and 2 explosions, one in Texas, one in Oklahoma. Now, we talked about the Waco situation in 1993, this being the 20th anniversary. You also had in 1995 the 18th anniversary of the Oklahoma City Mirror building blowing up. And this particular explosion in Oklahoma happened the same day the explosion happened in Texas. 2 days before the anniversary of both of the Mirror building in Oklahoma City and the Waco siege in Waco in 1993. Now, you also had a situation on CNN News where they showed an abandoned U-Haul truck not too far from where the Mirror building was in Oklahoma City before it got blew up in 1993. Almost the exact same location. You have an abandoned U-Haul truck, and they ended up evacuating a lot of people out of that area in fear that it was there for an explosion. So we see a lot of signs being shown that are not just coincidences. These aren't just coincidences, and we know that these are false flags. We know that these are false flags, and on a higher level, they are rituals. These are rituals being performed. And we're going to talk about those rituals and what this means on a spiritual level. So the next article is vigilantcitizen.com, April 18, 2013. And it says, the end of April, a time of human sacrifice. I'm going to read it here. It says, why do we often witness tragedy and senseless deaths during the second half of April? The list of violent events that occurred during this time period is simply staggering. Here are some of them. April 19, 1993, Waco Massacre. An FBI assault team led to the burning down of the compound of the sect named Branch Davidians, killing 76 men, women, and children. April 19, 1995, Oklahoma City bombing, 168 people killed. April 20th, 1999, Columbine High School massacre, 13 people murdered, 21 injured. April 16, 2007, Virginia Tech massacre, 32 killed, 17 injured. And you can say 33 killed if you include the gunman that was the one doing the killing. He killed himself, so that would make 33. April 16, 2013, Boston Marathon explosions, 3 killed, 107 injured. April 18, 2013, fertilizer plant explosion, Texas, 5 to 15 killed. Notice that this event occurred almost exactly 20 years after the Waco massacre, which is in the same area. Also on April 16, 1947, a ship loaded with ammonium nitrate docked at the port of Texas City erupted in flames, causing a massive explosion that killed approximately 576 people. Something also we can add to this is Hitler. Hitler's birthday is April 20th. Just something else, even though that's not dealing with sacrifice, but his birthday is April 20th. So it says here, there were many other violent occurrences that happened during that time period. In fact, CNN published an article in 2011 titled, "What is it about mid-April and violence in America?" discussing the events that occur in mid-April. Sadly, the article only bashed conspiracy theorists and basically said if you look for answers further than mass media, you are crazy and potentially dangerous. However, 2 years later, the violent trend continues. Is it all a coincidence? For those in the know, there are no such thing as coincidences. In 2011, I wrote an article about the death of bin Laden, announced between April 30th and May 1st. In that article, I briefly described the ritualistic significance of May 1st, May Day, and its relation to a god that is still important for the occult elite, Baal. So remember when Obama got up and announced to the nation that they got bin Laden on May 1st? Also, May 1st is the birth date for the Illuminati. It's the date that Adam Weishaupt declared the official start of the Illuminati, May Day. All right, so let's get some more understanding here. It says the cult of Baal never disappeared. It says throughout many centuries and across many civilizations, the second half of April has always been a time of blood sacrifice. The worship of Baal took many names: Enlil, Molech, etc., and spread across several civilizations. Being a sun god and a god of fertility, rituals celebrating Baal took place after the vernal equinox, a time of rebirth, and often involved human sacrifice. So I want to examine that for a second. This was rituals to the sun god of fertility, and it was a fertilizer plant that was blown up in Texas. Again, we're just connecting dots, and there's more connections that we can see with these events. All right, now there's a quote here from the Encyclopedia Mythica. It says, "The cult of Baal celebrated annually his death and resurrection as a part of the Canaanite fertility rituals. These ceremonies often included human sacrifice and temple prostitution. That's on Baal. Although the observance of these rituals was sometimes condemned by religious movements, it never truly disappeared. The religion of the god Baal was widely accepted among the ancient Jews, and although it was put down at times, it was never permanently stamped out. Kings and other royalty of the 10 biblical tribes worshipped the god. The ordinary people ardently worshipped this sun god too, because their prosperity depended on the productivity of their crops and livestock. The god's images were erected on many buildings. Within the religion, there appeared to be numerous priests in various classes of devotees. During the ceremonies, they wore appropriate robes. The ceremonies included burning incense and offering burnt sacrifices, occasionally consisting of human victims. The officiating priests danced around the altars, chanting frantically, and cutting themselves with knives to inspire the attention and compassion of the god. And that comes from a bid. As a sun god, Baal's worship involved human sacrifice and fire. Today, in the occult elite ruled America, this time period often equals fire or gunfire and death. These rites were even mentioned in the Bible. Jeremiah 19:5. They have built the high places of Baal to burn their children in the fire as offerings to Baal, something I did not command or mention, nor did it enter my mind. From the Babylonian, Assyrian, and Phoenician civilizations of the Middle East, their mystery religions come from the same point origin. The cult of Baal spread to distant civilizations, such as the Celts, who observed Beltane rituals on May 1st. Now, stop right there. The Celts. What city is the Celtics in? Boston. So this Baal ritualistic sacrifice spread to the Celts, and you have a city named after the Celts, or a basketball team with the Boston Celtics. And a Celt is a druid or a witch. Going back to Stonehenge in England. Beltane originates from the word Baal or Baal. So Baaltane or Beltane. While the observance of Baal rituals differed from one civilization to another, they were nevertheless grounded in the same occult concepts of numerology and sacrifice. In other words, they were all tapping into the same magical knowledge. Today's occult elite still observe these rites, but with one major difference. They are now carried out on unsuspecting civilians and spread across the world through mass media. Fed and amplified by the fear and trauma of the masses, these mega rituals are seen by all, but only celebrated by the occult elite. More than ever, we are dealing with black magic. And they do get the masses to celebrate these things ignorantly, not knowing that you're celebrating in these rituals. When you participate in these marathons and these sporting events, you're participating in these rituals to the gods. All right. Other sites dedicated to occult numerology have published information emphasizing the importance of this time period. And this comes from Cutting Edge, Occult Holidays and Sabbaths. It says, April 19th to May 1st, blood sacrifice to the beast, a most critical 13-day period. Fire sacrifice is required on April 19th. April 19th is the first day of the 13-day satanic ritual day relating to fire. The fire god Baal or Molech, Nimrod, the sun god, also known as the Roman god Saturn or Satan, the devil. This day is a major human sacrifice day, demanding fire sacrifice with an emphasis on children. This day is one of the most important human sacrifice days, and such has had some very important historic events occur on this day. So today is the 19th. Starts this period up, and as we see, they start this early with these other events taking place. You know, the 16th of April, 17th of April. So they've even extended it out. And so we can maybe look to expect more events take place between now and May 1st. So definitely keep your eyes open. And, of course, with these stories, these particular situations in Boston, Texas, and Oklahoma, be on the lookout for more to go with these stories as well. Another article briefly describes the elements required to carry out the elite's mega rituals. The human sacrifice required during many of these occult dates needs to contain the following elements, each one of which is exaggerated to the highest possible degree. Number one is trauma, stress, and mental anguish, sheer terror. The final act, number two, the final act in the drama should be destruction by a fire, preferably a conflagration. Number three, people must die as human sacrifices, especially children, since the darkness views younger human sacrifice as most desirable. And this comes from the advent of deception. Of course, not every event that occurs during that time period is related to the Illuminati human sacrifice. However, most of the events mentioned above fit right in the mega ritual criteria checklist. If you look carefully at the facts surrounding each one of these events, you might conclude that they were either carried out by government officials or blamed on mind-controlled patsies. Most of these events are absurdly gratuitous, generating even more trauma and causing people to wonder what kind of evil people would do such a thing. Unfortunately, these evil people rule us, and the same events are then used to further extremist political agendas. The powers that be have become masters at combining pragmatic politics with occult rituals. In conclusion, those who know about occult calendars enter the second half of April wondering if something horrific is about to happen. Sadly, every few years it does, and the public is traumatized with a senseless and violent event. Almost every time, a closer look at the event leads to strange and suspicious facts, and more often than not, hints towards an inside job. While many will ascribe the occurrence of these events during the end of April to coincidence, the fact remains mass violent events involving death and fire happen regularly during the same time period that is occultly dedicated to Baal, who was worshipped through fire and human sacrifice. Whether this is all done on purpose or just the result of some crazy universal synchronicity, the fact is still there and cannot be disputed. Incidentally, the compound that was burned down in 1993 in the 1993 Waco massacre was named Mount Carmel Center. In the Bible, Mount Carmel was where Elijah defied the prophets of Baal, challenging them to pray to Baal until he lit a fire in front of them. No fire was lit. Was the fire at Mount Carmel Center a symbolic revenge of Baal? So we have another so-called coincidence with that, with the place called Mount Carmel Center for the Waco Massacre in 1993, and that being the place where Elijah basically, made the prophets of Baal look like, look crazy and out of their minds, praying to this stone god, and told them if he's real, he's going to light this fire in front of you, and nothing happened. All right, so again, we see these events, which not only are they false flags to promote an agenda, but they're also on a higher level human and fire sacrifice to the gods. So it's deeper than just what we may think as a false flag, and a lot of people really don't know the severity of what these things mean. But hopefully with, that information, it takes, edifies you with what is really going on with these events and what they mean to the elite. And so we know that most, if not all, of these so-called events that happen, we know that they're doing exercises and drills in conjunction with these events. So that in itself leaves you to wonder, are these actually just training exercise drills that they're enacting to prepare for, what's to come down the road? They're doing these things to do testing, beta tests, take down data, to log it in their system, to see how people react, to know how to improve their responses and how to handle the situation for their benefit in the future. That's what all of this is about. As far as when it comes to drills and exercises. Also, we have to look at the conditioning that's taking place, all the subliminals that are being planted into the subconscious mind. Before these events, we had what the main topic of discussion for the past few weeks in the news. You have the nuclear, possible nuclear war with North Korea and the heavy rotation in the news. So what they're doing is subliminally putting in your mind the idea of nuclear war, and then they bring in all of the possibilities. Oh, could a missile be launched? Could they actually, bring a nuclear warhead into a city or to a location and cause it to blow up someplace? So they're putting you these thoughts in your mind, so when it happens, you more readily accept it because you've been conditioned to accept it, to say, okay, well, they did tell us that North Korea was, wanting to do this and do that. So when it happens, okay, well, North Korea did it or Iran did it, whoever they wanted to be the blame on for when it does happen. That's what this is all about. They have it in the media, which is, we know is sorcerers, channelers, channeling spirits, casting spells on the minds of the masses. They have it in Hollywood, which we know Hollywood is sorcery and witchcraft. That's the wood of the holly tree. This is the wood that the Druids or the Celts, revered as being holy to cast spells. The wand. Movies like Olympus Has Fallen, where they show you the war, the possible confrontation between North Korea and America, and to where North Korea takes over the White House and is terrorizing the country and the White House being taken down. They're putting this into your mind, so when it happens, you've already seen it and you accept it. They're putting it in the video games. We talked about the video game called Homefront, where they show it in that video game. They have it in the movie Red Dawn, where North Korea comes in after an EMP blast and comes into America and takes America over, not knowing that the foreign troops are already in America ready for takeover, right? So they put all of this in your subliminal mind so that you stay in submission to the beast, and stay wondering after the beast. When the time comes, you look to the beast for solutions. What do we do? How do we come back from this. You know, we got to recover from the terrorist attack, and we got to go get them. You know, so they've introduced you in 9/11 to terrorism, to international or foreign terrorism. In 1995, they introduced you to domestic terrorism. So they're introducing you to all of these, you know, situations, these, you know, Sandy Hook massacres and Batman Aurora, Colorado massacre, your Chris Dorner manhunt situation, and now they got the manhunt for the bomber in Boston. You know, so and you look and you see, okay, that they pretty much shut a whole city down looking for a young boy that they're saying is this, you know, last left suspect of possible potential. Again, we always get these potential suspects, but they always end up dead before they get a trial. They end up being killed. So who's the real terrorist? I mean, if you look right now, the city of Boston is being terrorized by the government and the government agencies, the police, you know, FEMA. Those are the real terrorists, terrorizing, you know, putting up no-fly zones and checkpoints and ushering people into these camps, into these facilities, and pat downs and you know, all of these things. So that's what's going on right now as far as those you know, particular events are concerned. Now, hopefully tying into those, we can go into the next part of the news. Let me see here, one moment. So the next thing we're going to talk about is off of blacklistednews.com, and it says major 7.8 earthquake strikes Iran, leaves hundreds dead, follows 6.1 quake from week ago. So I'm going to bring in Brother Yawanathan. If you could start there for us where it says it was only a week ago.
Okay. It was only a week ago that Iran was shaken by a major 6.1 earthquake, striking just 100 kilometers away from the Bushehr nuclear power plant, a location so opportune, some so inclined saw in this phenomenon another demonstration of the HAARP's capabilities. Those same people would then hardly be surprised to learn that moments ago, the entire Middle East, from Dubai to Delhi, shook in the aftermath of yet another massive earthquake, this time measuring 7.8 on the Richter scale, which once again was located, as the USGS reports, some 86 kilometers east-southeast of Kash, Iran. According to preliminary reports, the USGS says there is possibility of heavy damage in the area of epicenter, and an estimated 359,000 people felt very strong to severe shaking. USGS also estimates that 16,000 may have felt severe shaking, 343,000 very strong shaking, and 1.7 million strong shaking, 1.1 moderate shaking, 1.1 million moderate shaking. An Iranian official was promptly on the tape saying hundreds of dead expected from quake in southeast of the country, even as the Russian company that built the Bushehr NPP saying there was no damage from the quake. How much more shaking can either the existing Iranian nuclear power plant or the much maligned nuclear facility in Fordow sustain before they go off in a big glowing mushroom cloud? This is the question.
All right, so the day after the bombing in Boston, almost in conjunction on the same day, you have this 7.8 earthquake, almost an 8.0 earthquake on the Richter scale in Iran, the biggest earthquake in over 56 years in Iran. And this follows a 6.1 quake from a week ago. So I want to go into that part of the news next, and this will be the last article that we read for the news, for our news segment. So if anybody has any questions or comments, anything you'd like to add, feel free to chime in. The guest caller number is 646-200-4309. Just simply press the number 1. It'll put you in the queue, and we will take your call. All right. So this next article is motherboard.vice.com. And this is talking about the earthquake that happened last week, the 6.1. It says, before the big quake, Iran's president ordered the speedy launch of 5 new nuclear reactors. Dated, let me see if there's a date here. It doesn't have a date listed. 1 week ago, that's what it says. So it says here, the earthquake that shook most of Iran earlier today won't slow down its leaders from pursuing its nuclear ambitions. The quake registered a 6.3 on the Richter scale and has so far left 30 dead and 800 injured. Its epicenter was just 62 miles from Bushehr, the city home to Iran's nuclear reactors. Yet in a press conference held in honor of Nuclear Technology Day, on which the earthquake unfortunately coincided, Iran's President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad stressed the need for accelerating the pace of Iran's peaceful nuclear activities, according to the Islamic Republic News Agency. He added, there would be no halt to the country's atomic program. Ahmadinejad said that Iran has already gone nuclear and that no amount of resistance from the United States or the West will slow them down. He then ordered Iranian nuclear officials to speedily launch 5 new nuclear reactors and announced the construction of 2 uranium mines and a yellow cake production plant. The International Business Times reports that the facility outside the city of Yazd will produce 60 tons of yellow cake or uranium oxide per year. Iranian officials told the UN nuclear agency that the earthquake did no damage to the reactors. And the Russian company that built the plant said that personnel were continuing to operate the plant as usual. Residents of Bushehr told Reuters that the quake shook their homes, but little damage has been reported. The earthquake is a reminder that international tensions aren't the only dangers of Iran pursuing nuclear technology, even if the ultimate aim is, as it claims, merely to run nuclear power plants. Iran is one of the most seismically active nations in the world, as it sits atop a tangle of major fault lines that cover 90% of the country. As a result, the Encyclopedia Iranica notes that there have been over 126,000 deaths from earthquakes over the last 100 years. In 1900, for instance, the Manji Rudbar earthquake left 40,000 dead and 500,000 people homeless. It is, in other words, one of the worst possible places to build volatile nuclear power plants, yet Iran's leadership remains undeterred. Iran is a nuclear country, Ahmadinejad said, and claimed that nothing can stop its progress. So again, we see another situation with nuclear power plants being built upon fault lines. And this earthquake, this 6.3 earthquake or 6.1 happening right after the announcement of Iran saying that they are on a speedy pace for 5 new reactors. So here again, we're seeing more nuclear talk. And then at 7.8 this week after the Boston bombing. So a lot of these things are lining up. Now, you also had earthquakes that took place in Oklahoma, I believe 39 in one day. And Oklahoma isn't known for earthquakes, but you have a lot of over the past few years, the earthquakes have just skyrocketed in Oklahoma. I mean, I believe that in 1 year, it was like 2011 or 2010, there were more earthquakes in that 1 year than like the last maybe 50 years combined in Oklahoma. something along those lines, to show you, where we are at when people ask where we at biblically in prophecy. I think it should be obvious with what's going on, all these events. I want to read some scriptures. Let's go to Luke chapter 21. And we're going to start at verse 9.
All right. Luke chapter 21, verse 9. But when ye shall hear of wars and commotion, be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by and by.
All right, so when you hear of wars and commotion, so we're hearing of the North Korean war, you're hearing of the Iranian war, the war with Iran, you're hearing about the war with Syria, you got the war in Iraq, you got the war in Afghanistan, the war that happened in Libya, you got wars jumping off in Africa. You got in America the war on drugs, the war on crime, all of these wars and commotions. Now, when you go into the Strongs for the word commotions, it's Greek Strongs 181, and it's akatasia, which means instability. That is disorder, commotion, confusion, tumult. So when you look up and you see what's going on in Boston, you see a bunch of confusion. When you look at what's going on, it happened in Texas, a bunch of confusion, instability, disorder. And you know that, of course, they like to create the chaos so they can bring in their order. So they want the commotion and the confusion because, if you're in this condition, it's easier to give you the solution. But the end, be not terrified. So when we see these things, it's no reason to be scared because the Most High did not give us the spirit of fear. But we should understand what they mean and where we're at as far as the second coming of Christ and these other prophecies that must be fulfilled before his return. We should not be in the world sleep, not paying attention to what's happening. For these things must come to pass. All of these things must happen. But the end is not by and by, meaning that Christ is not going to come back tomorrow just because you see these things happening today. There's still more prophecy that has to be fulfilled. Just know that he's knocking on the door. The door hasn't been opened, but the door is being knocked on. Verse 10.
Then said he unto them, Nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom.
So you're seeing nation against nation. You're seeing these race riots. We're seeing the escalation of racial tensions in America and other parts of the world. We know it's Jacob's trouble. And, you're seeing these outrageous and atrocious crimes against people of color. Being, beheaded and being hung in trees and being killed by the police. You had a man earlier this week that was on a bus, and he was trying to get to his location, and the bus driver told him to stop asking him questions. It was a black man, and it was a white bus driver, and he's trying to figure out what street he's on so he knows when to get off, and the bus driver told him, didn't I tell you to stop asking questions? And then just ran up on the brother and just started beating him down, and then threw him off the bus. So you're seeing racial tensions on a high level. These are spirits that are moving through people. These spirits are after the woman's seed, as the scriptures say. The serpent seed against the woman's seed. So it's a spiritual battle. Verse 11.
And great earthquakes shall be in diverse places, and famines, and pestilences, and fearful sights and great signs shall there be from heaven.
All right. So you have great earthquake, 7.8 earthquake in Iran. 7 point, that's almost 8.0. 8.0, and that was what happened in Japan. And speaking of Japan, I believe today there was a 7.0 off the coast of Japan. 39 earthquakes in one day in Oklahoma. Oklahoma is not known for earthquakes. Oklahoma is getting hit with earthquakes and plant explosion. Right? In diverse places. All right. And pestilences. So pestilences, you having diseases and sicknesses breaking out. They talking about the new bird flu now spreading. A lot of people dying from this new strand of bird flu this week. H7N9 or something. I don't know what it's called, but some new strand that they're talking about. And fearful sights when you look up and you see these fertilizer plants exploding, and you see all type of crazy stuff happening. Fearful sights. You see people on the videos running for their lives from these events. And great signs shall there be from heaven. So now you're talking about this, you see meteors, so-called meteors coming out the sky in Russia and all over throughout the world, blowing up, and people talking about comets coming to Earth and destroying the Earth, and UFOs. So you're seeing this talk about pretty much every day now. Every day. You had in Syria, now they're talking about sending U.S. troops into Syria. While all of this confusion is going on in America, and America is trying to, figure out what's going on with these other events, now it is a smoke screen for them to now go into Syria. They have 200 military personnel from America, from the United States, in Jordan that's supposed to be crossing over to the Syrian border to provide support for the rebels in Syria. All right, so just wanted to bring out those particular points, and that's it on what we have for the news tonight. Because like I said, I know we could talk about this all night, what's going on, but those are the main things that are happening. So again, stay tuned, because it's more to come with those events, and be prepared for more new events to emerge. And again, you're listening to Friday Night Sabbath coming out of Babylon on Blog Talk Radio for the Gathering of Christ Church. Let's go ahead and go to these call lines. Again, if you have a question, just press the number 1, and we'll take your call. First caller we have from the 803 area code 4979. You're on the air.
Shalom, brother.
Hey, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, giving all praises to the Most High. I just wanted to make a comment on this situation here. It seems like everything y'all talking about is coming to pass, like right before our very eyes. Like y'all been on point, and I'm glad I had the heads up, so I don't be as nervous or fearful, and I know exactly what's going on. So I thank y'all brothers for that. I had wanted to elaborate. Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was saying yes. All praises to the Father for that. All praise to the Father.
That's right. I had wanted to elaborate on that April situation. I was looking at the Roman holidays, and on April 21st is Rome's birthday. Yes, April 21st is Rome's birthday, and April the 4th is the great mother of Rome's birthday. April 4th to the 10th. And from the 23rd all the way to May 3rd is the birthdays and the celebration of their goddesses of flowers and plants, so of fertilization. Like you were saying, that linked that to the fertilization plant that blew up.
Mm-hmm.
That's their fertility gods.
Exactly.
So the
exactly.
21st, that bugged me out.
Yeah, Ishtar, Easter, which is the fertility god, the reason why they had the Easter bunny laying eggs.
Yep.
In April.
Yep, and that 21st, where you say all of that stuff happening like that, is Rome's birthday.
Yeah, that's something, and we know we're under the Roman rule right now, so you know.
Yeah, but that is deep. You know, I just wanted to bring that information, and y'all pray for our family, because we in South Carolina, and just after that Boston thing, they shut down our capital, Columbia. They shut it down just like that. They said they had some suspicious package around the State House and around, so they shut it down too.
Wow. And see, this is their whole propaganda, is to instill fear in the American people, is to have these bomb scares and these situations to get you prepared to being scared and to be in submission, because if you're scared or in fear, they can control you. But if you're not scared and you're not fearful of them, then there's nothing they can do with you. So you're the threat.
That's true, but you know, you don't want to be in the mindset of a set of fear. But like these people in Boston, you know, you want to stay positive. But when somebody kicking in your door and making y'all come outside, because they went through every house and a 20-block radius, they went through everybody's house. Everybody had to come down. They coming in with the military and guns. Everybody has to come out, lock down. They going through the physical.
Right. So does that not sound like something that they're planning on implementing nationwide in America through martial law? So we know that this is a false flag. So this is just a test. They're doing this in preparation of what's to come, and you know, and these exercises being done, and they're the real terrorists. These people are just terrorizing American people, kicking doors in and carrying on, like you said. It's madness.
Yeah, you know, this is a true sign. It's time to go. Let them have their little playground and do what they do. But if you wise, I mean, it can't get no clearer to this. They're saying that they can't lock a city or a state down, but Boston is locked down. Boston is locked down. I mean, the military, those guys that go over to those countries that fight those wars, they in the same state of mind right here, right now in Massachusetts. They got their full gear on, and you should see them. I mean, if you've seen them, all of them got on new uniforms. So them uniforms just was issued.
Wow.
You see them, look at them new uniforms.
Right, look at it.
They got their hat, so they in full uniform.
Wow.
So y'all pray for us and just keep us in mind down here in South Carolina, and pray that we get out of this country.
Yes, ma'am. I mean, just you know, you gotta have your hat and coat at the door. You gotta get ready. You know, like when Christ said, when you see these things, when you see compassed with armies, know that the desolation is nigh. You just gotta know that, hey, when the time comes, hey, it's time to go. Whether it be foot or by boat or by plane, just whatever way the tide affects.
Just become a trooper, right?
like Ezra told us, and when you see these evils, be like what? Be like pilgrims.
You be like pilgrims and be troopers and get the trooping.
Exactly.
But I thank y'all, brothers. I'll press the one and I'll continue to listen. Shalom, brother.
All right, bless you and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
All right, so let's go to the next caller we have here from the 413 area code 4337. You're on the air.
Shabbat Shalom, Elder. How are you?
Hey, Shabbat Shalom.
From Massachusetts.
Oh, Massachusetts. Are you in Boston?
No, but my daughter is, and they're just like, you know, going crazy out there. I got a message on my phone today, and she was like, Mom, they're going crazy out here. They got a lockdown and so and so, so and so. And I definitely called her and quoted that scripture to her. When you see a city compassed with army, I said, listen, everything that's going on, honey, is Bible prophecy. Okay? And to calm yourself down, that's where you have to start with the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? And that's like about an hour and a half, 2 hours away from me. Okay.
And you know,
but, go ahead.
No, I was saying, and you know, and that's what people, our people need to realize is that these are opportunities for a perfect platform to let people know what time it is.
Mhm.
Perfect opportunity.
Exactly.
You know, all these things I've been telling you, all these things I've been trying to show you. Look what's happening. This is the beginning. It's going to get worse.
That's exactly what I said to her. I was like, look, honey, all the time, because, I mean, like my family, you know, like my children, some of my children really turned on me. You know, they even went, some of them even went as far as got negative videos against Elder Car. It made it seem like I was doing a, yeah, and, you know, look at those videos, and I said, oh, I've seen those videos, okay? I took pictures of how they persecuted and all this thing here. It's like I just let them pull me down, and they felt like, my children felt like they were losing me, you know, instead of gaining. And really, my daughter had to say to me that, Mommy, you really, really have changed, and I'm glad that you're sticking with your faith. You know what I'm saying? So eventually you just got to hang in there, because if they can, and I don't think your family means any harm. You know, I just think it's all that fear and, you know, them not being the truth. They don't understand. They look at it as we're losing somebody, you know. But my thought is today is that it seems like every time before they go after Jacob, they start with all this other crazy, with other nations first. It's like just before they went after the guy Chris, they, you know, it was the Sandy Hook and, you know, these other things came before. And then they would go after Jacob, because a lot of times, you know, that would justify what they're doing, and it wouldn't make them seem like they're particularly targeting, you know, a particular, you know what I'm saying? And then the fact that the neighbor, because my doing this, he did a telemarketing job where he had to call people's houses and do surveys, okay, about a whole lot of stuff that they like and didn't like. And around the time when they was going through the election, they called a lot of people homes, but they only really called a lot of Jewish people homes. You know, they started asking questions about if they're Jew by DNA, if they're a Jew by this or whatever, you know. And they was like, sometimes the people get frustrated, curse them out. And I said, honey, I know you don't know it, you don't know any better, but you are definitely working for Satan. What they are doing is trying to find out, because they first they send you a memo about you getting a video inside your home or getting some sort of alarm, or like they're trying every tactic. So now they're able to get inside your home. They do a survey, you know, and they seem to almost know everything that's going down inside your house, because they have people calling you and, you know, giving you surveys and stuff like that.
Right. They know who's in your house, so when they come and they pull a kick door and they kick your door down like what they're doing in Boston, they know what to expect, who's there, and what's going on.
Exactly. But you know something, like the sister said, we already know what to expect. You know, and really, like, we're catching pure hell over here. I mean, financially. You go to the grocery store. I'm moving around as I'm talking to you. But, you know, and the food is coming off the shelves little by little, not all at one time, you know, but because I buy, you know, specific things, the food is coming off the shelves. And nobody seems to understand that it's about to be on. Okay, we're about to go down. You know, I don't know if we're going to make it out of here. You know, if it's the Father's will, then we'll make it out. If it's not, then so be it.
Well, I'll say this. I'll say America is going down, not we're going down. Because
there you go. Thank you.
For our people that know what time it is, or for our people that know that, you know, that you must leave America, that the Most High is not finna come send UFOs or come pick you up with his hands. As long as you have the understanding that you have to use your own feet to get out and have that mentality, then when it goes down, you are ahead of the game. And the scripture says, flee from the land of the north. So you know that you must head south, because if you head east or west, and if you're in the north, you're still in the north. So south is the way to get out of the north. So, just keep those things in mind and know have direction.
So south as in America south or away from America? Go south. I'm confused.
Well, either or. I mean, again, if you're in the north and if you go east or west, you're still in the
you're choppy there. You're very choppy there. Hello?
You hear me?
Hello? Oh, it's very choppy.
Is it?
Yeah, still choppy. Wow. Can you hear me, Elder? They didn't like that, did they? Hello? Oh. No, I guess not. Don't let me.
Shalom, brother.
Say what? I don't understand what's going on.
man, right? They doing this on purpose. I'm trying to see what's going on.
people want to tell his story from what's a down perception of their own philosophy. But did you know that the Jews were slaves? Oh yes, the Jews were slaves, brought into a land that is not of our own, waiting for redemption of a higher throne. Swing low, sweet chariots, waiting for to carry me home. Come on, help me praise, praise the Creator. By the sun you shine, praise the Creator. By the sun you shine, love, righteousness, ye that be the judges of the earth. Think of the Lord with a loving heart. So why don't we praise the Creator? By the sun you shine, praise the Creator. By the sun you shine, praise the Creator.
Yeah. Turn it down. Say that y'all gon' know. It's the most I got sit with you. I was digging sound like wisdom. Not to mention fisherman, but right now is you serious? Christ made me a fisherman, that's one thing you should understand. Straight up, dog, it's straight up. Depending on who you boxing, and you gotta get your weight up. Depending on what kind of fish you catching, gotta switch your bait up. Competing for them souls, and I hate to take a L. Introduce them to some knowledge so their ignorance rebels. Why they jamming to the song? They don't know they been in bail. They defenseless like a ninja turtle stuck outside a shell. This is for my ninjas, so I gotta Donatello. Trying to feed them babies, so I gotta give them baby food. Infiltrate them infants, gotta speak a little baby. Google Gaga, no Kabbalah, no Kaaba. Here's some milk inside your baba. Come on now, we go baba. Understand me now? Do you follow? Understand me? Do you follow? Let's go. Where do I begin? Where do I begin? Because my thoughts is pregnant, I'm about to have twins. I'm a birthing natural. I don't need cesarean. My water's about to break the beat. Is my position. Go check the ultrasound. Check the ultrasound. Yeah. Check the ultrasound. Check the ultrasound. Check the ultrasound. Check the ultrasound. Let's go. Check the ultrasound. Check the ultrasound. Don't worry about no gender, just embark on this adventure. It has been quite the winter, and the world is getting dimmer. Used to get caught in the snares, now claps and snares is my shimmer. So what shall I not do with this petition? All the sinners, the world is about to fall. I can't help but yell timber. One thing you should remember, while you're shy as spoken parallels. Keep that in your mind, now go back to my songs and parallel. Do you catch my breeze? As you were, gone parasail. The music can't go places as the teachers cannot go. So when the gun pops, I be coming out of blocks, be a fool of a stop. Gotta make that goal on the high jump now, so I can't aim low. Gotta get that goal, but I can't vote. Jumping out the gym like I can't go roll. On the cool, do you feel me? Really, dog, yeah, really. What good is a position if your body is not sickly? Here's a shovel, now go dig me. If you stop listening clearly, you see that I spit nutrition, or then it crash landed on your earlobes and expanded. Where do I begin? Where do I begin? Because my thoughts is pregnant, I'm about to have twins. I'm a birthing natural. I don't need cesarean. My water's about to break the beat. Is my position. Go check the ultrasound. Check the ultrasound. Yeah. Check the ultrasound. Check the ultrasound. Check the ultrasound. Check the ultrasound. Let's go. Check the ultrasound. Check the ultrasound. So you can read my mind.
hard working on it right now. Anyone, if anyone can hear me clearly, first one to get in. Okay. If anyone can hear me clearly, first
should I be dreaming? Why should I be dreaming? Joy comes in the morning light.
Yeah.
Joy comes in the morning light.
I admitted that I got jealous when I came across my fella on the YouTube, and I seen all his views, and I'm like, dude, that very well could have been you. For a quick second, must have lost my mind. If you think that I'm pressing rewind, only move forward, the hands of time, only push towards my peace of mind. Couldn't sell my soul for $9 billion tax-free cash dollars stacked to the ceiling. So how could I be living, knowing what I'm doing is wrong, so wrong, so wrong. From generation to generation, perpetuation of the ignorance is ignorant. This is why I'm belligerent, to preserve the look is innocence, cause innocence, they serve they God and I serve mine. I can't deal with that logically, so I'd rather deal with my poverty. So why
should I be dreaming? Why should I be dreaming? Joy comes in the morning light. Joy comes in the morning light. Used to walk like that, used to walk like that, used to talk like that, used to talk like that, used to be like that, used to be like that. Yeah, I was like that, yeah, I was like that. Used to walk like that, used to walk like that, used to talk like that, used to talk like that, used to be like that, used to be like that. Yeah, I was like that, yeah, I was like that. I wanted the money, I wanted the women, I wanted the status, I just had to have it all. But the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, the greed of the heart, it is never full. So what is the answer to this cancer that's eating us alive? Could it be any more obvious that we need the Most High? Put down the lies, and separate slowly. Put down the lies, and place your hands where I can see you're under arrest. Why should I be dreaming? Why should I be dreaming? Joy comes in the morning light. Joy comes in the morning light.